I know that with a lot of policies and stuff that we have as stylists, we get a lot of pushback. I'm here to say that you have to be mindful of what you're putting in place, and there has to be a reason for it. Some stuff, can seem utterly ridiculous, but instead of getting offended by a client questioning your rules or your policies, or instead of feeling like, oh, y'all don't want to follow the rules or whatever, we feel like we don't have to explain ourselves, but sometimes that's the part that brings the human part into what we do. So for instance, late policies. I'm just gonna bring that up because a lot of people talk about that, right? And I hear people say, oh, well, you guys have these late policies, and what happens if you're late? So for myself, my policy is if you are 15 minutes late at 16 minutes on the dot, your appointment is canceled. Reason being for myself is because I work back to back. So you have to think that if you are 15 minutes late, and let's say that, because a lot of people don't understand that even if you're 15 minutes late and you say, oh, well, I don't know, it's only 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes on top of the 15, which now makes you 20. So now we're 20 minutes into your appointment where you could have been washed in deep condition and blow dried and whatnot already, right? Another thing that clients don't consider when they're late is the fact that if I take you late, that pushes the whole day back, right? That pushes me into the next person's appointment. So if you happen to be that person the next time around whose appointment I'm late into, now you feel like, oh, she's always late. Oh, she's always running behind. When in actuality, I'm here on time. It's me taking the late people. Y'all see what I mean? At the same time, stylists, we have to hold ourselves equally as accountable. So once again, for myself, with my late policy, the same thing applies. If I am late, anything after 15 minutes, I owe my client $1 for each minute that I am late. So if I'm 30 minutes late, I owe them $15 off for their service. Because a lot of clients really do just feel like, okay, we'll go with whatever you say, but it has to apply to you as well. It's not fair for, your client to be on time and, they pull up and you got somebody in the chair and they're just sitting there waiting. What was the point of them having an appointment? Is usually how they feel, A lot of people have things to do. I pride myself on being a stylist where you can plan your important events around me. You can plan your day around me. I got a client, I just met her yesterday, and she booked an appointment, and she's on her way to Texas today. And she was telling me, she was like, yeah, I'm flying out to Texas. This is my first time getting my hair braided in LA. She's not from here. She's from the East Coast. And, I told her, I said, it makes me feel good that you guys can book these last minute appointments with me knowing that I'm going to be there, and so that makes me feel good. But I just say that to say, I'm going to actually do a series on story times based on the rules that I have in place for myself. But I just say that to say that obviously the rules are in place for a reason. Sometimes clients are clients. They're not going to understand what we have these rules in place for, and it's okay to open up the floor and explain to them, this is actually what happened as to why I have this rule. Because sometimes it is going to seem a little ridiculous, but, for instance, if a person is having a whole lot of flakes, of course they're going to have a policy for that, That's it. That's all I was trying to say.